We're gonna do a little trick here. We got this fella who knows this guy, the Archcast, formerly known as Arch Warhammer. So this guy released a video, okay, and it sort of signifies a broader thing that I've seen with this story that I want to dig into a little bit, okay? So this video is titled "The UK proposes sending people to jail for excessive ratioing of tweets." No joke. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of discourse about this, okay? So I have seen some memes and I've seen some jokes, and I get it, that's fine, okay? But to be perfectly serious and honest with you, I do want to draw a line, because it's okay to have a laugh and a joke about it, but there's also like the promotion of misinformation, okay? There's also the promotion of misinformation, which, you know, leads to people having really weird takes about the United Kingdom, yeah? You realise that in the UK, whilst we don't have as free a speech as you have in the United States, okay, there are some limitations and some things that can get you in legal trouble that you might say, okay, more so than in America, I should say. It is fairly free speech still. Like, you can say a lot of stuff, you know. You can say a lot of stuff. I think that particularly idiotic Yankoids think that we're like a free speech dystopia, and you can get locked in prison just for tweeting out a spicy joke.
Dad.
You know? Oh my god! Ratatosk, thanks for the $20. That's so generous. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support. Amazing. Australia's the free speech dystopia. Don't call you dumb. Say something racist right now. Well, funnily enough, I can't say something racist because I'm on Twitch, which is an American company, and because of its TOS, I'm not allowed to say anything racist. So, joke's on you. What happened to your free speech, Yankoids? Anyway. So, the reason that I want to talk about this...
Thanks a lot, that's really
okay.
generous.
Oh, PB and Jan, thanks a lot for the extended sub. Hype train's close if anyone wants to hook me up. 100 bits or a sub will do it. So, if anyone, like, you know, people come to it and it's really frustrating because what they do is they act like, oh yeah, it's going to be illegal to ratio tweets in the UK, but they mean it seriously sometimes. They mean it seriously sometimes. You know? It's just crazy to me. And I think it's worth just looking at the fact and the fiction of this case before we watch this video. And Taco Light, we'll get to that drama in a bit, don't you worry, okay? So, what is the situation here then? So, I've got the original story, the source of this story, okay? So, look at the title of this video. The title of this video is "The UK proposes sending people to jail for excessive ratioing of tweets." Now, is the UK proposing to send people to jail for excessive ratioing of tweets? What do you think? Yes or no? What do you think? Yes or no? Do you think the UK, unironically, is
Dad.
going to send people to jail for excessive ratioing of tweets? You're not sure. Okay. Well, let me fill you in on what the truth of the matter is. Okay. Now, that's not to say that I necessarily agree with this legislation. I probably have got some criticism of the proposal. Okay. And it is a proposal. It's not confirmed or anything like that, right? But this is actually the headline from the original story from the paper that broke this, okay? And straight away, you'll start to see problems with it. Trolls will be jailed for psychological harm, okay? So that's the headline. Spicy, get people in. Trolls will be jailed for psychological harm. What does the very first paragraph of this article say? Trolls could face 2 years in prison. So we've gone from trolls will be jailed to trolls could be jailed straight away. Straight away, we've had a almost step back on the claim of the headline, which demonstrates once again why it's so important, okay, to read the article and not just go off the headline. could face 2 years in prison for sending messages or posting content that causes psychological harm under legislation targeting online hate. Okay? So, the big thing here in this article is they're talking about basing decisions on whether something has the potential to cause psychological harm. Okay? Now, I've got some concerns with this. Okay, and I think it's definitely something that's worth considering and being critical of. Okay, but the idea that means that yes, the trolls are going to be jailed for sure, or in fact, the UK is going to send people to jail for ratioing tweets is absolutely absurd. Okay, and it's not as a joke or whatever. Fine, if you want to joke about you got a license for that ratio, that's my stream title. It's a meme. Okay, but there's a difference between just having a joke and a meme about it and actually unironically spreading like misinformation. Yeah? And this is spreading misinformation. And I can see where this numpty's gone wrong. He's brought up this article here. I don't even know what the source of this is. So straight away you've got a bias because look at this, look at the headline. Worse than the other one. The UK plans to make online pylons a crime. In chillingly broad attempt to suppress speech. What? Okay, let's read on anyway. Ministers will overhaul communications laws by creating new offences in the forthcoming online safety bill, the flagship legislation to combat abuse and hatred on the internet. The Department for Culture, Media and Sport has accepted recommendations from the Law Commission for crimes to be based on likely psychological harm. The proposed, so it's a proposed law change at the moment, okay, will shift the focus onto the harmful effect of a message rather than if it contains indecent or grossly offensive content, which is the current basis for assessing criminality, okay? So I've actually got two thoughts about this. On the one hand, I've got concerns over how and what and where and why we're determining a harmful effect, okay? But also, I am of the strong belief that online abuse, okay, is not seen or taken as seriously as abuse that you might issue to someone in the street, right? If you went up to someone in the street and you were shouting at them and you know, calling them racial slurs and blah, 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 having a go at them, right? Yeah? I'm pretty sure even in America you could get get in some sort of legal trouble for that, right? If you're going up to someone and shouting and hurling abuse at them, right? I'm fairly certain that there might be some sort of law that you're breaking, maybe around harassment or something. I don't know. But, you know, certainly there might be something, you know, that might be relevant there, you know? Not if you're in public and not if you aren't threatening them. So, you know, for some reason, right? For some reason, it's almost like when that interaction goes online, we revert to the how is cyberbullying real? Just look away from the screen meme. Do you see what I mean? So why is it that when it's online, all of a sudden it's, oh no, don't worry about it, it's just online? Like, look, I'm not saying that if you're getting a bit spicy with someone and calling them an idiot, you should get locked up, right? But if you are engaging in like online abuse against someone, yeah, and you're like having a go at them and saying all sorts of terrible things to them or talking about their kids and doing stuff to their kids and da-da-da, like, or whatever it is, like, yeah, I think there is a line that people can cross, right? Where, yeah, I think that there should be some sort of consequence beyond just getting banned from the platform. And I'm not like I say, to be clear, I'm not talking about arguing or getting a bit spicy or something like that. I'm talking about targeted specific abuse, particularly around one's identity. Yeah? Now, that's not to say that this legislation is good, right? That's what? I personally can't wait until bongs start getting the cops called and they're hurting people's feelings online. I mean, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. You first time chatter. Shut up. In fact, I'm going to time you out for being an idiot. First comment is the most stupid thing I've read all day. Okay? And I'm reading the Times right now, so that should fucking tell you something, shouldn't it? You're not even fucking following me. Fuck off. It's almost impossible, though, to find the person on the internet who said the threat is the problem. So, listen, I'm thinking in real time, yeah? So, for example, yeah, this could have a chilling effect because every time I post, I don't know if someone would sue me. I share your concern, right? I totally share your concern. And I've got a lot of concerns about legislating online hate, okay? I've got a lot of concerns about it. And I'm not even suggesting that this is the right way to go about it. I don't really know. I need to know more about it. I need to find out more about the bill before I came to any conclusions, right? I'm just highlighting, and hopefully you would agree with this, that there's behaviour that people engage in online that we as a society would not deem acceptable if it were happening in person, right? There's behaviour that we accept online that we wouldn't accept if it was in the street, right? And I just think that's something we ought to be considerate of when we're looking at how to tackle these issues, yeah? Because I think that there is a genuine problem with the way that people engage with each other online, and I'm not sure if legislating against it is the right way to deal with it, but I absolutely think that steps need to be taken to deal with some of the unique issues we face with online interaction and discourse, yeah? People online can't physically harm you. Okay, that is a bit fucking of an obfuscation because some people, due to online abuse, have killed themselves. Okay, there have been cases where people have harmed themselves because of abuse they've received online. So how do you factor that into what you're saying? And that's my whole point with this. Is that we are so permissive of so much shit that happens online, right? And we just accept all this terrible stuff that goes on, and we just kind of are like, oh yeah, it's fine. Do you see what I mean? And like I say, I'm not even sure if this legislation's any good, but I just think we need to be a bit more aware of it and just be a bit more considerate in how we interact with each other. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I've got the right solution. I'm just highlighting that the idea that online interactions can't hurt you, it's, look away from the screen, is wrong. I disagree with that. I yelled at you about it. I think my take was I supported the right of the guy to make a joke, but there were some considerations around it with this guy and it was a bit of a weird case. But yeah, I saw that. Wait, Bilderberg. Oh my god, I didn't see. Thank you for the $26.98. I really appreciate that. I didn't have my headphones on. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. There should be tools that let you make a bubble around you if you want online, like Twitter with the banned word thing, blocking people, only letting certain people type. But if you're like a public figure, can you avoid that? Can you do that though? You know? Like maybe there's more tools that can be available. Anyway, listen, listen. Like I say, I'm not supporting this legislation. I share a lot of your concerns about legislating against speech. Okay, I absolutely do. I just wanted to point out that sometimes we have a bit of a blind spot when it comes to looking at online abuse. And I think that all of us, in one way or another, revert back to, oh, how is cyberbullying real? Just look away from the screen. And everyone does this to one degree or another. And I just think that's a bit silly. And we should contend with the potential consequences that online abuse can end in a more meaningful way than just dismissing it as, oh, but we can't legislate against it. There should be some way or method to move through it or whatever. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm trying to say. The idea that online speech is totally harmless, I just disagree with that, and I don't think that's correct. Yeah? And that a lot of the rightoids push that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Okay? The government does go too far. I agree with you on that. Okay. So, Um, a new offence of threatening communications will target messages and social media posts that contain threats of serious harm. Okay, listen. I don't think I disagree with that. I think that's fair enough, right? If you're threatening serious harm against someone, and I mean not like in a context it's serious harm. Yeah, fair enough. It would be an offence where somebody intends for a victim to fear the threat will be carried out. There we go. I mean, yeah, I think that's fairly uncontroversial, isn't it? A knowingly false communication offence will be created that will criminalise those who send or post a message they know to be. Oh, wait a second. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not sure about this one. Well, it depends on the circumstances, maybe, but this is a bit sus. A knowingly false communication offence will be created that will criminalise those who send or post a message they know to be false with the intention to cause emotional, psychological, or physical harm to a likely audience. Oh, oh no! Hey, you fuck! Listen, I know. My audience is all, oh, the anti-vaxxers, oh no, the anti-vaxxers. You're gonna love this bit, you nerds. You're gonna absolutely love this bit. You're going to love this bit, you nerds. Government sources gave the example of anti-vaxxers spreading false information that they know to be untrue. You're going to love this one, aren't you? Oh, yeah, they're getting the anti-vax. Oh, good, yeah. Get the anti-vaxxers. Get them, yeah. How are you going to prove mental intent? Well, listen, that is one of the problem with these types of legislation. Obviously, in court somehow you mitigate you litigate that and sort it out. But it is a problem. It's like how do you prove that? So yeah. The new offences will also include so-called pile-ons, where a number of individuals join others in sending harassing messages to a victim on social media. So this is where this is so ridiculous, right? Like, excessive rationing of tweets. Or, wait, excessive rationing of tweets. I think it means ratioing, doesn't it? That doesn't make excessive rationing of tweets. That makes sense. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be, if you're just going and calling like someone Eve Fartlow, I don't know if that's gonna be considered as part of this. But I don't know. This is a bit up in the air. This one for me. Not sure about this one. Yeah, I'd need to. I'd need what I'd need is like examples. Yeah. And yeah, Bruce Wayne makes a really good point, which is true. So much of the, like recently, David Ames' murder, the MP that was murdered, has been used in part of like a discussion about this stuff, right? But David Ames' murder isn't anything to do with like online abuse. It literally is some guy, apparently an Islamist terror attack. I can't remember the details. Maybe more's come out. But like, yeah, this sort the big problem with this sort of legislation, okay, is it will be used by like rich and powerful people to protect themselves from criticism. That generally is how it goes. The kinds of people that I'd be worried about getting harmed by like online abuse, it's unlikely that they're going to meaningfully have the resources to pursue this sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't think this is, and this is my big criticism with this sort of legislation. I don't know if this is actually going to help the people that need it. It's probably just going to be used to protect politicians' feelings. So it sucks for that reason, I'd say. I'm being hunted down by Interpol due to ratioing a Chud Logic tweet. So listen, like I say, I'm not talking about this and like, oh yeah, this is all based. Yeah. I'm not on board. I'm not saying this is all really good. I just have got some thoughts about online abuse, and I just think that it's always dealt with in a terrible way that tends to benefit like wealthy people and politicians rather than the people at the sharp end of it that haven't got any money. Anyway, let's continue. Be used to protect Diane Abbott. Does Diane ever still get grief on social media? The Times was told that the plans have been sent to the Cabinet for approval. Nadine Dorries, the Culture Secretary, is intending to add them to the bill when it is introduced to Parliament next month, government sources said. The move is likely to be met with resistance from freedom of speech campaigners and civil libertarians. David Davis, a former cabinet minister, said assessing based on the impact it has on the receiver was too subjective and urged the government to rethink the proposals, especially given it was hailed the legislation as world leading. Jim Killock, executive director of the Open Rights Group, said that new harm-based offences were too broad. I do agree with that. I think that, like, trying to figure out the harm. Like, I don't know. Like, how does that work? Oh yeah, I got psychologically harmed because someone ratioed me on Twitter. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, are people going to take the piss with it? Oh God. Anyway, I love it when people are like, "Oh, thank God I'm in America." TOS would probably cover most of this. TOS would probably get you banned from platforms for this. So I don't know why you're like, oh, I live in America. What about TOS, you idiots? Yeah, well, I said a second ago, oh, hopefully the e-filer thing won't be included. But if she kicked up another stink, excuse the pun, would she be able to, like, process a thing under this? Because obviously the UK is, wants to do its own thing and the whole point of this, right? Listen, the whole point of this is they're legislating against it because the government's idea is that if they legislate against it, it's going to mean people are less incentivized to do it, right? Because TOS getting banned from a platform. At the end of the day, someone can just set up another troll account, so they don't care about TOS, do they? But if there's legal ramifications, maybe they'll care about it. That's the logic of the government anyway. Not necessarily on board with that, but that's their logic. Yeah, I'll talk about that. Yeah, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I need to get all the info on it to talk about it in full. Okay, let's continue anyway. A government spokesman said, "We are making our laws fit for the digital age. Our comprehensive online safety bill will make tech companies responsible for people's safety, and we are carefully considering the Law Commission's recommendations on strengthening criminal offences." Bring on mandatory ID checks. MPs urge social justice. See, this picture of David Ames, he wasn't murdered by a tweet. Jesus Christ. Players are being urged by the Football Association to use new social media tools to shield themselves from online abuse, particularly if they make on-field errors. Any player who experiences or expects abuse on Instagram can now use a feature called Limits. It allows users to still receive comments and messages from long-standing followers, but can limit contact from new followers and anonymous trolls. That's good. That's a good thing. I think that sort of thing's good. Another feature, hidden words, can censor certain words from appearing under posts. The tools are being launched in the wake of racist abuse aimed at England stars after Bukayo Saka after the Euros. That's something else, I think. But yeah, anyway, there we go. So yeah, I've got some big doubts about this. I think that some of this maybe is okay. Some of it a bit cringe. But in any case, I think we've got a better understanding, right? I feel like we've reached a greater understanding of what actually is going on here. So, with that being said, let's have a little look at the video and see what our good friend, Arch Warhammer, has got to say about this. Shall we?
The UK has got to be the least free country in the free world.
What is that? Okay. What does that even mean, though? Like, what is it? Okay, apart from, like, I don't know, saying racial slurs to a police officer, or whatever. What, I don't know if you can do that in America or not. What is it that you can do in other places of the free world that I'm not allowed to do? What can you go and do right now that I can't? That I would want to do? What am I missing out on, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. Shoot a gun. I've shot a gun. I shot a shotgun. Yeah, I've already shot a gun. So that's ticked off the list. I can do a Nazi march or something? I don't know. You can go and buy a gun. Okay, that's true. I'm missing out on buying a gun. Have nice teeth. Call someone a bimbo. But can you shoot a grenade launcher? I just assume the UK is like America, but slightly worse. This is my point, though. Is like people act like the UK is like prison island or something, but like we got it's good over here. You should come and visit sometime. Chat all 150 of you, come and visit. We'll have a good time, okay? But yeah, I honestly think that a lot of this is just rightoid screeching over like nonsense. Anyway,
Free world. Whatever happened to that quaint and now seemingly faintly ridiculous idea, I wonder? Oh well, it was fun while it lasted, I suppose. As it appears that the United Kingdom's primary complaint with the European Union wasn't the overreaching laws or the tons of regulations enforced upon the United Kingdom's people. No, it was simply just that it wasn't tyrannical enough for Boris Johnson and his ilk's liking. Boris, good God, you are one hell of a disappointment, I'll tell you that much. As the UK now plans to make online pile-ons a crime. That's right, in the United Kingdom, if you ratio someone hard enough, you can go to jail for up to 2 years.
okay, that's not true. It's not just for ratioing someone hard enough, okay? That is just misinformation at this point. We're not joking, we're not memeing. That's just misinformation. There's absolutely nothing in the legislation that suggests that if you just ratio someone hard enough, you're going to go to jail. It's absurd.
Is. Oh yes, that's a reasonable punishment. Hey, what are you in for? Oh, you know, I raped and violated a few families. How about you? Twitter pile-on. Oh, you disgusting degenerate. Jesus. Of course, the punishment is up to 2 years in prison, as noted. 2 years.
I mean, listen, I hate this when people point to the maximum sentence, right? And they act like, oh, look, you can go to jail. You will go to jail for 2 years, even under the terms proposed, if you did something really extreme, right? Like, for example, if you went on and you sent death threats to someone and said, I'm going to come to your house and do X, Y, and Z to you, right? And it was considered a credible threat, or maybe it like caused psychological damage. I don't know exactly how it would work. But in those circumstances, maybe you might be looking at a long maximum sentence, you know? But this idea that just ratioing people, the police are going to come to your door and throw you in prison for 2 years, is absurd, and it's based on nothing. It's just ridiculous.
It's just so on the face of it ridiculous too. It's not a fine. It's not a slap on the wrist or, community work. No. 2 years in prison. Christ. The definitions of the crimes are a good deal murkier, as usual. It seems like the point of legal innovation in this day and age is to make it as hard to read and as broad and open to interpretation as humanly possible. Actually, no. That's an insult to the human species. Humanity is bound by such things as morality, ethics, basic human decency. It is, of course, the goal to make it as vague and murky as politically possible, getting rid of all of those silly little ideals of, reasonableness.
This video is... I'm going to have to speed this up. This is absolutely insufferable. He's adding literally nothing to the conversational discourse. He's just going over the article, making absurd extrapolations. And I don't know. I don't know. Just seems ridiculous to me. I don't know why I still watch this guy. Why do I still watch this guy's videos? I saw this and thought I wanted to talk about this, and he probably says some dumb stuff about it. But there we go. Here we are. Here we are again. Yeah, his accent's funny. Apparently he's from Norway or something. Some one of those snow countries. One of those snowy places. Scandinavia. So yeah, Scandinavian countries. And I've talked about his accent so much. But the thing is, Arch Warhammer videos tend to do quite well on YouTube. So, you know, maybe I'll make a couple of bucks of ad revenue. Who knows? Oh.
Posts likely to cause psychological harm can also be punished, and the best one here is also messages containing threatening communication. Now, that has already been a part of the United Kingdom's brand new entry into cyber-fascism, but now it is not necessarily that there is an actual, threat of the threat being followed through on. Somebody saying, I'm going to kill you, and then he has a history of violence or something like that. No. You see, that was far too difficult to prove. Actually demonstrating that somebody intended to go through with a ridiculous threat on the internet is kind of hard, because unsurprisingly, ridiculous threats on the internet are usually not particularly credible. And therefore, they have now made it so that it will be enough to prove, quote-unquote indeed, that the recipient, English, of such a post and message feared the threat was real. This is brilliant.
I mean, I'm sorry, whenever people talk about this stuff, this is what I'm talking about, right? Is people act like this is all okay, and people should just, oh, well, like, why is someone sending, like, threats to people on the internet? That's insane behaviour. And whilst I don't agree that legislating against it is the best way to disincentivize it, we shouldn't be accepting of that in, like, a normal society, right? We shouldn't just be like, oh, yeah, well, you can't prove they're going to do it, can you? But no, they're sending threats to someone. Like, why are they doing that? And if that is having an impact on someone, should we not try and contend with that in some way and try and deal with it? Like, Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about threatening someone with some sort of harm. Like, what? These people act like this is all just totally okay. And the thing is, for me, is I don't care, because if someone sends me a death threat, it doesn't really bother me that much, whatever. But there's some people out there who it would. That's already against the law. Is it, though? Is it in a way that can... I don't know if it's against the law in this context, is it? But yeah, this is what annoys me about this conversation, is people act like it's all okay, yeah, just, well, you can't prove they're going to do anything off this threat. Just, you're sending death threats to someone on the internet. You say you're going to beat them up or whatever. That's crazy. And it's not on. And people shouldn't have to be subjected to that sort of behaviour. If they don't want to, if it upsets them, then that's a relevant thing we need to consider. Especially if there's some rando. Yeah, but what about saying I'm going to do this, that, or other threats of other action against them, which are, like, really bad? Words I don't want to say, just in case I get demonetized. The R word.
That's fantastic. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel here. As thoroughly ridiculous as this is, and of course, it gets worse as well, spreading misinformation that you know is false, because, all misinformation is knowingly spread. I seem to remember a bunch of newspapers talking about how one jab of a nondescript substance would be more than enough to protect you from yet another undescript evil thing that was occurring at the time. YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think people should have to put up with those kind of threats in their DMs. Like, why should they? Like, I'm not saying even that this is the best way to deal with it, but it's just the way people act like it's nothing. Like, it's just, oh, well, it's just the internet, isn't it? Yeah, on the internet, you can be expectant of some degree of toxicity and fighting and getting called an idiot, whatever. Yeah, of course. But there's got to be a line where we go, well, that's way too far across the line of what kind of behaviour one ought to expect online. And there ought to be ways and means that we can deal with that. I don't think that's a particularly unreasonable position. But they're acting like it's like, oh, it's all free speech, say what you want, it's all gravy.
all that, it would be more than enough, but now we've got 2, and we're heading towards 3. Will the newspapers be criminally liable for this? Because if so, I heartily applaud this law, frankly. Anything to send more journalists to jail, I do guess. And the potential for malicious compliance here is indeed...
Anything to send more journalists to jail. Oh my god, that is... Ooh! That's giving me some bad juju. That's giving me some bad vibes, people. Not gonna lie. That's giving me some bad vibes.
Significant. I mean, as a UK citizen, particularly if you're somebody active on social media, you could simply just build up a little list of various lefty activists who tend to be somewhat combative on social media. I've got a whole folder of shit like that.
Oh my god, he's got a list!
Just for once, I'm sad I'm not a UK citizen, because I imagine I would have made some serious bank out of reporting all of these hate crimes. Though, well, unfortunately, I guess the law probably won't be retroactively effective. Truly tragic, that indeed here. Another recommendation that has been accepted is to make the online pylons a crime. Several users sending trolling messages perceived by the recipient as harassing. So the next time you get ratioed on Twitter by a bunch of angry leftists, just send in a police report. And you know what? I'm not even necessarily joking right now. I genuinely am not. The only way any of this will ever cease is if the people pushing it gets absolutely whacked with their own bloody stick. It is the only way. And here's the thing too. This is the unavoidable evolution of the criminalization of intent. This, of course, started all the way back with stuff like hate crimes, where you made something that was criminal, like assault or actual, literal threat of harassment, etc., or threats of violence and so on, which were already criminal, mind you. You made the crime a crime on top of the crime by adding on the intent of the criminal.
Oh, yes! The reason... Oh my god, I had to research this for a panel once, right? The reason that you increase the penalty for hate crimes is because... the data shows this. Oh god, I probably got the research somewhere. I need to dig it up. But basically, the basic concept is if a hate crime has a demonstrable greater impact on society than just a normal crime does. Oh, did you, Zap? Have you got a link? That was a really good website. But that's the reason that you have an increased penalty for hate crimes because unironically, it has a greater impact on society, so you have to further, de-incentivize it via having increased penalties. Now, whether or not that has an effect or not, like there's criticisms of the criminal justice system, etc., but to just dismiss the idea that we ought to have increased penalties for hate crimes, even though it's crime already, is just not based on any real reality. If you can find the link to it, let me know, but yeah. That is an actual true fact based on studies. I did some research for it. Take my word for it. I'll see if I can find the link to put it in the YouTube video.
You are violent towards this person because he is black. Now we have a double crime. He already committed the crime of violence, and now we are going to speculate and really get our...
Yes! People victimized by violent hate crimes are more likely to experience more psychological distress than victims of other violent crimes. Specifically, victims of crimes that are bias-motivated are more likely to experience post-traumatic stress, safety concerns, depression, anxiety, and anger than victims of crimes that are not motivated by bias. And it's all sourced here as well. So, there we go. This was such a good document for that panel, because it was all just chef's kiss. I can't remember what panel it was. Banging. Banging, banging, banging. I need to save... I'll put it... I know what I'll do. Put it in there for now. That'll do. Thank you for the link. So, Arch Warhammer doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mind-reading powers going so as to divine the criminal's intent so as to punish him yet further. Now, there are certain circumstances in which this is theoretically possible. If a person...
But no, you'll misunderstand. Hate doesn't just mean hate as in, oh, I hate that person. Hate crime means that the crime is motivated by one's immutable characteristics. Or something like that, or religion as well. Basically, a protected class or characteristic. So, hate crime doesn't just mean you hate someone so you do a crime. It means you did the crime against someone, and it's at least somewhat motivated by their race, gender, etc.
Has like a 5-year history of of writing the N-word in very aggressive circumstances online and then ends up killing a black person, yeah, there is probably a motivation there. But in the vast majority of hate crimes, the motivation is incredibly murky, and the problem there is also that not enough people are getting convicted of hate crimes because it's damnably difficult to prove intent. And so the logical step, from the political point of view anyways, is to simply broaden the interpretation. See, one of the Trumpalophagus' best ideas was that if you want a new piece of legislation or regulation, you need to remove 2 previous ones. We need this in
Wait, Travis, what are you talking about? The grooming gang cases in Britain, what about them? What do you mean? Elaborate. And I know a little bit about it, but I've not looked into it for ages, but I know a little bit about it.
Legal system. If you want a new law, you had best be damn sure it's worth it, because you're going to have to yeet 2 previous pieces to get it. Otherwise, we're going to end up
oh, shit.
with more and more of these crimes. Right now in Norway, we're currently having a debate with our ruling Communist Party, because for some reason we voted them back into power again.
Wait, I'm pretty sure in Norway, the Social Democrats are in power. Norway government. Current cabinet. The incumbent Solberg cabinet. Yeah, Labour Party formed a minority coalition with the Centre Party. Oh no, it's a Labour Party in power. Yeah, they're Soc Dems. The Centre Party, agrarian political party in Norway. So how are they? Where's the communism coming in for? What's communist about that? What's communist about any of that stuff? What's he talking about? Yeah, Norway's pretty cool. Advocates for economic nationalist protectionist policy. Oh, they're just centrist. Yeah, okay. Anyway, let's continue.
Limited franchise of the future, I tell you. Anywho, where they want the Workers' Party here wants to make it criminal to have sex with someone without their consent. And in this case, specific consent. Literal consent, as in, I would like you to have sex with me. Hold on, I gotta hear it. Oh, I consent to engage in sexual intercourse with you. It's real sexy, by the way. But as the opposition parties, and even their partners in government, bless their little souls, are pointing out, hold on, you already can't have sex with someone in Norway without consent. You know, it's rape otherwise. Because as it turns out, sex without consent is indeed rape, already a crime. So why would you criminalize the crime? It's ridiculous. It's literally nothing more than another piece of paperwork.
Okay, I don't know anything about the intricacies of that piece of legislative discourse, but I'm pretty sure he's probably wrong because of all the other stupid shit he said, but I don't know, unfortunately.
To chug up the administrative machinery. That is literally all this is, but of course this is targeting the online sphere. This is targeting social media, which of course means it's going to be targeting a very specific group of individuals. And of course the knowingly spreading false information. Again, knowingly. How do you know that somebody else knows what they know? Somebody could actually just genuinely believe the thing they're talking about. Not everybody is a scientist with a PhD, and even then, fill a room with scientists and you will have more opinions than you have assholes in that place.
What was that take? I need to go back for that one.
Somebody could actually just genuinely believe the thing they're talking about. Not everybody is a scientist with a PhD, and even then, fill a room with scientists and you will have more opinions than you have assholes in that place.
What is he trying to say? I don't get it. What? I really don't understand the point he's trying to make there. Scientists have got opinions. I mean, okay. Like, yeah, everyone's got opinions, I guess. Yes, Peter Parker, we're on the same page. I think social media is really a problem when we look at damages it does. Yes, I agree with you. Social media is a problem. We need to try and deal with it. I completely agree. But it's the best way. I'm not sure government legislation is the best way, but, you know, we need to try and figure it out, don't we? He looks down because he knows the metaphor hasn't landed. It literally makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. What does it mean? Everyone's got opinions, yeah. Like, what is he talking about?
It's another attempt at stifling online discourse, at freedom of speech, and this is the danger as well. As much as I have been arguing recently for increased regulation, this is the wrong kind of legislation and regulation, unless at the very least we have some kind of oversight body, maybe, yeah.
He wants it the other way round. He wants it so he always has an account, even no matter what he says, he wants to be able to guaranteed a social media account.
Another superfluous entity, I know, but something to make sure that the rules are applied evenly. Hell, if anything, we need a full-on legislative system to determine whether or not online actions are indeed correct or not. If YouTube wants to ban you, for example, they should prove to the satisfaction of a independent governmental body that they are allowed to ban you.
Yeah.
The consequence of that is that you get a governmental body staffed by...
I actually agree with that. Damn, I actually do agree that there needs to be some sort of ombudsman or body that has oversight over like permanent bans and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's fair that these platforms can just ban you, and they don't even have... Like, when I got banned from Twitter both times, I mean, the second time it was for ban evasion, so I couldn't really do much about it. But the first time, I appealed it, and like literally nothing happened. Literally nothing happened whatsoever. And I was like, what the hell? What gives? Do you know what I mean? And there was no recourse. Like, that's it. Gone forever, you know?
Leftists say. It's not an
Annoying.
easy solution to any kind of this problem now, is it? But honestly, the Trumpaluffagus one, yeet 2 pieces for each one. We have so much legal bloat at this point, and yet we continue to shove in more by making crimes crimes. What a world we live in. But Boris Johnson, the greatest disappointment in the history of the United Kingdom. Yeah, no, actually, I'll stand by that. I figured that a certain other individual in recent history might be even worse, but no, this is probably it. Anywho, until next time, thank you all very much for watching, and remember, if you enjoy these videos, please do consider leaving a like and a comment in the comment section below, because that is what the YouTube algorithm likes. It tickles its little pickle most ferociously. And maybe, just maybe, if we get enough people in enough positions of influence, we can turn this around. I know, bold-faced lie, but hey, can you blame me?
True,
I am at the mercy of the
yes,
algorithms.
Travis.
Have a good day.
Anyway, there we go. So, as expected, that video was terrible. Oh, there we go. I've said enough on that topic anyway. So, shall it be written? So shall it be done? Final points. I'm not sure if this legislation is the right way to deal with this, but there is absolutely an issue with the way that people engage with one another on social media. And yeah, we should be considerate of that. Try and deal with that. And yeah, big tech sucks. There we go. Please don't ban me, YouTube or Twitch. Big tech rocks. Really, I love it. Okay, end of discussion. I don't know why am I taking so. That's it. It's finished. Okay.